Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Not So Film Gems, the podcast where we discuss the movies that are award winning at the Razzies, not at the Oscars, and have since then become film cult classics over the years. We are joined by Small Movie World, aka Jason, and who recommended the movie that we are going to talk about today. So let's have a listen.
So the film I've chosen to pick for this podcast is Snowdogs, the 2002 Disney film. I don't think it's actually that good objectively, but it's not as bad as people say it is, in my opinion. I've got a big nostalgic connection with it though, because it is the first ever DVD I owned. Back in 2003, I got it as a late Christmas or birthday present after I got my PS2, and that's where my collection began. So the good stuff is, I think Alaska is shot really nicely. It looks grand and magnificent. I love the community of this small town in Talkeetna. The people are quite colourful and interesting, a bit cartoonish and one-dimensional, but still I like them. The music, not the really silly slapstick kind of music. I'm talking about like the dramatic score and how big and epic it is. Fitting with this environment, I really like it. It goes harder than it needs to. And best of all, James Coburn, legendary actor, one of his final roles, and he is such a badass presence. Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. definitely not good compared to like other stuff, like Jerry Maguire and stuff like that. But all his screaming should get annoying, but it just happens so much, and he's so over the top that I can't help but laugh at it. Of course, last of all, doggies. You can't go wrong with doggies, especially huskies. Yep, so that's my reason for picking Snow Dogs, and I hope you enjoy it, Gemma.
So, Jason, let's talk about Snowdogs.
Let's talk about Snowdogs.
Okay, so I know in the voice note we kind of heard your motivation behind why you wanted to recommend this film, but what made you think this film was like great to talk about?
Well, I think it really is like I brought up in my talking point. It really is a nostalgic thing because it's when you're young, you don't really have a concept of what's a good film and what's a bad film. You just have films that you like and some that you hate. So then growing up, and the funny thing is, I know obviously, it's my choice. It's not a film I like go back to and watch a lot compared to other like guilty pleasures, but there is a lot of nostalgia tied to this one. I think we'll get into it later. Even it's more about the DVD of it than it is in the film. But we'll save that for the end once we've talked about the film itself.
So obviously Jason gave me this recommendation a couple of weeks ago, and I think from our response I was quite excited to watch this because I have heard so many things about this movie, especially in regards to its star Cuba Gooding Jr., who obviously won an Oscar for Jerry Maguire. He had that infamous quote, "Show me the money," and everything. And to go from that to this sort of film, I was like, okay, let's finally check this out. So for Jason here, I've watched the film twice. Just because I really had to really indulge in the whole universe of this weird movie. I actually really enjoyed it though. Despite my 2-star rating on Letterboxd, I actually quite enjoyed it.
We were just talking about earlier, like it was really funny because after I sent you the clip, you replied saying that you were quite excited to see it, and then was it like a couple of weeks later, you come back posting on your Instagram story 2 stars in Letterboxd, and that made me laugh. And what was the review you put as well?
The things I do for my university degree.
There's worse things to do for your degree.
That is so true, like essay writing.
Dissertations.
Oh my god, yeah, that is probably me next year, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm dreading it. I do miss it when Disney, you know how when you start a Disney film and obviously has the Disney logo of the castle? I miss it when they change it to the theme of the film.
Yeah.
So obviously for this, the castle's frozen over because it's in the snow. I actually really like that, and I was just like, oh, this brings me back to the good old Disney days.
Also, I think it's one that was towards the end of like that the famous blue logo, because I think after that it became like it had a phase where it's like all black, and then the logo like comes in from the darkness for a few years, and then
I know.
Obviously, it became like the big CG logo now. So there's another bit of nostalgia there.
And that was kind of back in like when companies were just having fun with things, like to be like, oh, this is Snowdogs, we'll freeze over, freeze over the castle, and it's like, oh, that actually makes such a difference, you know, especially when you're a kid, you're like, oh, they've frozen over the castle, this is so cool. One of the first things I noticed, Cisco. I was like, why is Cisco in this movie?
Back then, I didn't know who it was, and I still don't really know who he is.
I mean, if people can't remember who Cisco is, he is the guy that sang the Fong song. But actually, you know what? I did think he was actually quite funny in the movie. I mean, like he's literally in the beginning, then literally appears again in the end.
Yeah, there's like one cameo in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Like I just remember this one scene where like we will get into the plot in a sec, but he's helping Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character get things for going over to Alaska,
Mhm.
and he trusts him with his credit card. Cuba's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm only going for 2 days. Why are you getting so much stuff?" And he's like, "You'll be expecting a massage chair and everything." And he's like, "You're not much help."
Yeah.
I like things like that. So I think before we really get into it, we should probably roughly say what the plot of this film is, because
Mhm.
even the plot of it is kind of nuts.
Yeah. And a wee bit confusing. It doesn't go the way you think it's gonna go.
I know, true. So basically, the film opens up with this guy in his dentist's office chair, and he has a wee boy with him who's watching him. It turns out it's the dad showing his son his day at work of being the dentist. So obviously that means the son is destined to become a dentist like his dad,
Mhm.
which he does. And plot twist, extremely hot Miami, right next to the beach,
Mhm.
which is so hot all year round. So that bit is very, very important because it just has to make sense. And he's very close with his mum. I think his dad, the sin had passed by the time we get to present day.
Yeah.
His dad died.
Well,
Yeah.
it's quote unquote dad.
Yeah, quote unquote dad. So, you know, Leo's Cuba, he's doing his thing, he's doing his dentist stuff, and then he receives a letter. He's basically been summoned because he got left something in a will of this woman who he has no idea who this woman is. And he's actually like, "Oh, do they have the right person?"
Mhm.
And obviously read out the name. And his mum is like, "Oh my God, I have to tell him now. He's adopted! He's adopted!"
I think this is the first film I ever was introduced to the idea of adoption. But I was never aware because I kind of skimmed over a lot of it. But I was like 8 or 9 when I got this film on DVD, so that's where I first saw it. And there's a couple of other things I was introduced to, which I didn't really think of until quite recently. But
Yeah. Because especially with Disney and stuff, like, not to go off topic, but I've been rewatching H2O,
mm,
and I feel like Disney only really mentions like broken families if one of the parents decides not to renew their contract and not appear in the show. So that's how I learned about divorce, is like through these kids' TV shows. And as you get older, you learn, oh, it's because the person who played the mum didn't want to do the show anymore. So they're
yeah,
like, oh, well, the mum ran off. It's always the mum, I find.
what makes a difference? Because usually the parent just straight up dies in Disney
Mm.
films, so at least they could have went with that, but they actually took a chance for a change.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So obviously it turned out the woman that left him the stuff in the will was his birth mother. And she lives in extremely cold Alaska.
Talketna.
Yep. And so obviously he's like, so obviously Kubrick's packing all of his really massive winter coats, like, everything, to prepare for the snow, because obviously he is a Miami boy. He doesn't know what cold is. And obviously he gets to the airport and he's the only one in the big snowy gear, and everyone's laughing at him like, "What you doing, mate?" Then he thinks he misses his plane, but he doesn't. Since the town where the birth mum came from is so small, he's in this really tiny one-person plane. And they're hardly. I just remember they weren't strapped. He wasn't strapped in right.
Yeah.
And then when he exits the plane, and obviously, the plane, the pilot. Of course, the town's so small, he has about 3 occupations
Yeah.
as well. Like, he's literally like, aren't you the lawyer that sent me that letter? He's like, yes, I'm also the pilot. I'm also this in the town. I'm also that in the town,
Yeah. And that was we laugh.
Yes. Oh my God, yes, that's right. I completely figured that out.
Yes. Emmett Walsh, she's like a really famous like sides character you see in like films for like decades all the way back to the 70s and 80s. So as mentioned, this film has introduced me to a lot of actors,
Yeah, it does.
and that's one of them.
And so then obviously he gets to Alaska and he finds out that the birth mom left him the house and all of our snow dogs,
Mhm.
which were, what, 6 or 7 of them?
Yeah, try to remember the
Yeah,
7 or 8 it would be,
I think so.
including Nana.
Mm-hmm. And obviously there's this one dog that is like basically the reason why they win all these competitions and stuff. And this guy is basically like, oh, he's basically trying to scam him, right? Like basically being like, oh, I'll take you 400 for all of them. And this woman bartender, spoiler alert, she ends up being the love interest because of course.
Yeah.
She's literally like, no, you're trying to scam him. Don't do that.
You cheap chiseler.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the film so many times. I quote random lines.
Oh my god, literally me with like my top 4 like I swear. But yeah, like, so and then obviously that guy ended up being his birth dad.
Yeah. And this is the other thing that I was introduced to: interracial marriages and relationships.
Oh my
'Cause
god.
it's a black woman and a white man.
Yeah.
Because I think I was obviously 9-year-old me was like, how could he be his dad if he's white? It was like that kind of deal. Obviously, if you're not being introduced to that in any form,
That is so true, yeah,
it's
because
just, but it's just about it's Snowdogs introduced me to both that and the whole concept of adoption.
oh my god, I love the fact that this film is teaching you so many different ways of life. I actually love that. Because obviously when I was a kid, obviously like a lot of TV shows were white, like
Yeah.
white actors.
Mhm.
But obviously if you wanted to be introduced to non-white actors, they had their own show.
Yeah.
Like Everybody Hates Chris, That's So Raven. That literally were either majority of them were either black or they had the one white friend that was dumb.
Yeah.
They never mixed.
Yeah.
They never mixed. I see now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
Even the show in Living Colour, it's like basically the black version of Saturday Night Live, and Jim Carrey was the one white guy. Like, that's how he got his big break.
Oh
So,
wow.
so he was the token white guy. In
Oh
that.
my god. So as I was watching the movie, I was taking down notes because it's very, very important.
Yeah.
And I know we're jumping back and forth, but I literally just read down his notes, and I feel like I really need to talk about this one bit because this really made me laugh. This was around the beginning of the film when he finds out that like he's adopted from like Alaska, and kind of has this flashback scene, and is like an igloo.
Oh, the dream scene. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the mailbox is also an igloo.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Made me laugh. I was like, this is so stupid. And obviously the dream sequence, and it literally is, and the mum just gave birth and zooms into the baby, and it's not a baby, it's Cuba Gooding Jr. in a blanket.
Yeah. No, it's a baby with Cooper's head.
Yes!
Just this giant head.
And I literally wrote, baby Cuba is so freaky.
Then he just wakes up. Oh, I'm an Eskimo.
And
It's kind of weird that he's like saying that there, because it's like, doesn't he already know that? Technically, 'cause he knows he's from Alaska and that.
I just think he's having a midlife crisis. And that was. I mean, obviously, if you find out if you're adopted, of course that will change your mindset of things. Of like, oh my god, what, him, my life could have been so different. But he's literally like, he literally asked his mum, "Why am I a dentist? Because you wanted to be a dentist. Because you wanted to be like your dad." And he's like, "But what if I'm meant to be something else?"
Yeah.
And because I'm from Alaska.
Yeah.
And also, when you were saying earlier about how you were confused about how the white dad and the black mom created, like the interracial relationships thing.
Yeah.
One of my favourite notes I think I wrote is once after Cooper found out he was adopted, he's actually like, and Cisco was like, was there any signs? He's like, no. And he's like, oh, I do know one thing.
I love blue cheese and they hate it.
And they hate it.
Oh, uncanny.
And guys, guess who likes blue cheese? The birth dad. He has it ordered in specially for him.
Which is one of my favourite scenes just because how odd it is. Just Cooper grabbing the cheese and Norman and James Coburn like fighting. We're like, give me that cheese. I don't know why it's. And the shopkeeper's like, do you see results? Oh yeah.
And it's the fact that like I literally wrote, let's just forget about the DNA test.
Yeah.
If he likes blue cheese, he's obviously my dad.
Yeah. Oh, and he cracks his neck.
Yeah.
Which he does have 2 things on the beach.
Yeah.
And James Coburn, and then eventually the dog does it later on.
Although what I will say about the movie, I think it was great physical comedy.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Cuba Gooding Jr. and his career and everything, he really sold the comedy in this movie. I feel
Yeah.
like he was actually perfect for the role.
Although a lot of people hate him in this film, I think he's well. He does scream quite a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, there is like a supercut montage of him just screaming. It's like 2.5 minutes long. And it's actually so over the top. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like he read the script and he's like, "Oh, it's Disney,"
Yeah.
and I'm literally getting chased by 8 dogs every 2 scenes, and one of them even bites me in the butt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be screaming and falling, and I don't know what I'm doing because I'm from the beach. I'm not from the snow.
Yeah. It's like
Sort of thing.
it's like the film's not exactly got good rip material to begin with, so
No.
you can only do so much. So he just goes all in on it.
Yeah, like I genuinely feel like with what they were given,
Mhm.
they did a good job
Yeah.
because the plotline in itself is nuts.
And you think the plot line's going to be like he's going to because his mum only came third place in the dog race, and you think he's going to train with the dogs and then they're going to win it, but it's nothing to do with that at all. It's actually all about the family relationship and repairing that family. So I give him credit for actually being a bit subversive, but and not going the cliche way. And it's like I think that's like the one thing that kind of draws me back. Like, also we're jumping way ahead, but in that scene where they're in the ice cave after Cooper saves James Coburn, and then like they have that heart to heart talk, and I think that's actually generally well done. I think it's one of those couple of things that people forget about when they like talk about this film or go back to this film and rip it apart. But I think it's a bit unfair with that stuff like that in there.
I think it is good, yeah, because basically, I think deep down you can tell that he is just wanting to get his dad's approval
Yeah,
because obviously his adoptive dad is obviously no longer there,
yeah,
and obviously it feels like he's been given this second chance to have like a father son
yeah,
relationship,
hmm,
and I think as well he wants to learn a little bit about his heritage, obviously,
yeah,
because it's so different to what he knows.
hmm.
And oh my god, this movie is getting so we're getting so deep in this movie, but it's so true though. Like, I do like that.
Yeah.
Although, saying that, there's this bit in the middle where, like, I think you know what I'm talking about, the beach scene. Like, his dream sequence of
Oh,
him on the
that's
beach.
yeah. You get knocked out after being chased by the bear.
Yep. Yeah. Of course, there's a bear that's, like, standing up tall and he's
Yeah,
screaming, running away, and then he gets knocked down by a bear. Of
yeah.
course.
I was like Yogi Bear, Smokey, Walter Payton, which I didn't get when I was younger. But it's like, oh, I think that's something Bears, a football team.
Ah, okay. So obviously in this dream sequence, he's at the beach, sunbathing back in Miami. But who's sunbathing next to him? The dogs.
Yeah. That I think that was the shot that was used in all the trailers. So a lot of people thought this was going to be a talking dog film.
Aha, yeah.
So it's a very Disney like trailer.
I actually think I remember seeing that on like the very old Disney videotapes, and they played the same movie in the Arviats all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, but this whole scene is worth it for the movie, I think, because obviously he's, like he turns to the dogs, and and he says, "I don't speak dog,"
Yeah.
and the dog's like, "Tell me about it." I don't know why that's so funny. It's just them with their sunglasses. They're like, "Yeah, I don't speak dog either."
Yeah. I love that Nana in the dream's like, well, I like him because she's the only one that's like, and like, oh sure, you falling over everyone, I'll give you a ball of slump.
There is a bit in the film where you look at CD collection is all Michael Bolton,
Yeah.
and then in this dream sequence, Michael Bolton is just there.
Yeah.
Again, I love this quote. He's literally like, "No matter your skin tone, you can still have soul. Look at me."
Yeah, no, but it's kind of funny that it's like one of the whitest of artists, like one whitest of musicians, and it-
I
I, I, d-
know.
I need to be careful what I say here because I don't want to like
Yeah.
stereotype, but it's like
No.
I feel, would this guy really be listening to Michael Bolton of all people? He's like the pinnacle of like white artists in the 90s.
True, but also same time. I think it is because he's such like a soul artist.
Yeah.
Like, when you listen to his voice, you think, oh man, that's different for like,
Yeah.
for way stereotypes are.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that line is so clever, because he's literally like, listen, I'm as white as they come.
Yeah.
But I've got great soul.
And speaking of instructions, I was in somebody else I was introduced to, Michael Bolton, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a 9-year-old Scottish kid in 2003 is going to know who Michael Bolton is.
That is so true. Yeah. See, that's the thing with watching like all these Disney stuff when you were like a child, like going into a teen.
Mhm.
I mean, also a lot of them were American. I started speaking with like an American accent because all I watched was Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just all these references. I'm like, oh, I don't understand what they're saying because
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, and then you learn who these people are, you're like, oh my god, that was funny.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just too British to.
So I learned for a lot of American culture, for like not just movies, but like web shows, like Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game. They're learning about like these TV shows and their movies and like sports teams. So that wasn't until like my mid to late teens as well. So that's how I was introduced to a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite fun.
I know, like, you know, I just remember with schools and all that being like, oh, the TV is not going to teach you anything. And I'm like, I'm learning
Yeah.
a lot of different stuff on TV
Yeah.
down at school. And obviously, the conflict of the movie is he doesn't feel like he fits in. He goes back home to his adoptive mum
Mm-hmm.
and all that, like, because he feels like he can't impress his dad. And then there's the dog race.
Yeah.
And the dad gets lost in the mountains, isn't it?
You're meant to like obviously stop at the laps and
Mm-hmm.
the weather's really bad, but he wants to try and he's so stubborn, wants to try and win the race for the first time and the last time. Like he just wants to get a shortcut, but obviously it costs him and he gets stuck out there.
Mm-hmm. And of course Gruber is watching it on the news, like on TV, and he's actually like, where is he?
Yeah.
I'm still not great with dogs, but I'll go out and I'll save him. He does.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then obviously the mum follows him being like, oh, yeah, good. You know, it's because he learned that, like, the dad lied to him because the dad claimed he wasn't in the hospital when he was
Yeah.
born.
Yeah.
But then he finds a picture being like, wait a minute, he lied to me. He was at the hospital.
Yeah. Again, and Cuba plays it quite seriously. Again, putting this
does.
really stupid film about Snowdogs.
I know, but like, you know, but that is the betrayal of the film. He's like, oh my god, my one dad left on the earth has lied to me. Like, why is he lying to me
Mm-hmm.
and stuff? So it's by the end, you know, so even though they technically didn't win the race,
Yeah.
they still feel like winners because they finished the race.
Yeah.
And they're all happy.
Yeah, he won the torch because that's the prize if you come in last.
That's true. That is
And that
true.
one guy, Ernie, Brian Murray, Bill
Mhm.
Murray's brother, again, somebody else introduced to. He wins it like 3 years in a row because he's
Aye.
just so bad.
And yeah, and obviously everyone's reunited, all happy, and then obviously his adoptive mum and the birth dad meet.
Yeah, they give that wee look at the wedding.
But like I did notice that, like, you know how sometimes when you watch a TV show or something, they introduce two characters and they kind of look at each other of being like, oh, is something going to happen?
Yeah.
That definitely happened with the adoptive mum and the birth dad. I was
Yeah.
actually like, there's a spark between the two different parents. Oh, okay. Certainly planted for the sequel. And, you know, I literally wrote my notes. Oh, of course there's a wedding because obviously he falls in love with the woman that works at the bar.
Yeah, Barb.
And helps him out and everything. Of course there's a wedding. It's all very nice. You know, and the dogs have puppies. So there's puppies everywhere.
Yeah.
And he opens his own dentist in Alaska.
Yeah.
Everyone's all happy.
Mm-hmm.
He knows who he is.
Yeah.
And he's bringing his you know, the dentist side of Miami to Alaska, and everyone's happy and grateful.
Yeah.
Stereotypical Disney ending. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, Michael Bolton playing in the background. Which, to be fair, that song is I Get Away Pleasure. It's a bit of a banger.
Mhm.
Time, love, and tenderness.
I really want to know what they had to say to Michael Bolton in order to get him to
Yeah.
agree to this. But at the same time, I feel like he's the type of guy, you know, if Disney calls him up and be like, oh, could you be in this film? He's like, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I can do that for a couple of hours.
Use a few of his songs as well, so it's free publicity.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah, so that, you know, so the film is a bit of a wild ride.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad I finally checked it out because
Yeah.
I said in the beginning, I've heard about this film for years,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the best light.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a Disney movie. You're not going to expect an Oscar-winning masterpiece
Mhm.
when watching it. But whenever you've ever heard of something called the Oscar curse?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's basically like when an actor wins an Oscar, their career isn't really the same after they win it. So so obviously they're on this high, and all of a sudden they either quote unquote either get blacklisted or they don't get as good a roles as they once did. A lot of people, when they talk about this curse thing, they talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. a lot, because obviously he won it for Jerry Maguire, which was a great performance and everything. Like,
and it wasn't too long after Boys in Hood as well.
And so basically, people were saying how he has kind of fallen into this kind of Oscar curse sort of thing, because I think a lot of it was partially down to him, basically, because he rejected a lot of big film roles.
Yeah, a lot of actors have famously done that, like Sean Connery, Warren Beatty, I think Gene Hackman, what's his James Caan as well was really infamous for that, and they've turned down so many huge roles that would have like changed the course of everything, like a complete butterfly effect stuff.
Yeah, and obviously, like, so he rejected those type of films, which were they were probably not as high budget as most comedies are.
Yeah.
But the script is solid to actually accept like big blockbuster things like this movie. And other ones are similar, and obviously they don't get received as well, or they might not make as much money, or they go direct to video.
Yeah.
But I do feel like quite a few of actors have either the same thing has happened to them. So obviously Halle Berry, for example, when after she won the Oscar, she won a Razzie for Catwoman.
Yeah, like only 3 years later.
Yeah, and she literally brought her Oscar with her to accept it. Which, by the way, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it when actors actually accept their Razzies and they're probably like, "You picked me."
And the fact that she recreated her big breakdown as well.
Oh my god, right? It was so good. But see, the thing is, she's still working.
Yeah.
She's still she's still getting high paid work. So I don't.
She was literally in Crime 101 the other month.
And another one, which is interesting reading these articles now, Adrian Brody. I mean, like, he literally just won another Oscar.
Yeah.
But this was before The Brutalist.
Yeah.
He was in quite a few, I wouldn't say flops, but nothing like The Pianist.
Yeah. He wasn't a lot of big stuff, He was only in like a couple of like Wes Anderson stuff. But then he gets floated around in random other stuff that I wasn't even aware of.
I just think he was like, you know what? I'm like the youngest person to win a Best Actor Oscar. I'm only 29, but like, he's probably like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna be in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do some Wes Anderson stuff.
Yeah.
And he was actually really funny in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
He was actually really funny in that. Someone else who was in the Grand Budapest Hotel who seemed to have fallen victim to the Oscar curse is that F. Murray Abraham, who won it. Yeah. He won it. A lot of people say he won it too early in his career.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but
I think it's also he's not got the same like star quality as like a lot of the other Hollywood actors. So it's a wee bit. So that's why like he's not going to be like Gene Hackman. He's not going to be just any of the big stars that we know of, really. So I think plus don't know, maybe his name is something to do with it. It doesn't have like it's not like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. It's like they got big rings to it. Whereas F. Murray Abraham sounds a bit more classy, but doesn't have the same like casual spark to it.
I get that, yeah, because he's one of those actors where like you actually look at his work. He's actually been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's not like the star.
Yeah.
Of it. It's not like starring F. Murray Abraham.
Yeah.
I think a recent case of this, and this makes me so sad, is that Ariana DeBose, who won it for West Side Story. She's been nominated for like 3 Razzies since then.
Yeah, I think she was in Love Hearts last year.
She was.
And it was like, well, that's a waste of her.
So true though. I mean, like, she was in that Argyle.
I've not seen that.
No, I've not seen that either. I remember seeing the trailer and I'm like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah.
She did voice a Disney character.
Yeah.
On that Wish, but like.
But that got mixed reactions as well.
And I'm like, what happened?
Oh.
It's, I'm just like, she's just having fun, which honestly fair.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, I'm like, you literally had a clean sweep at that award season, and
Yeah.
there you're literally been nominated for Razzies every year since you won.
Yeah.
I'm like, that kind of makes me a bit sad. So that's kind of the bad about the Oscar curse, but obviously, I think Cooper is still working. I remember he was in that People versus O.J. Simpson, that Ryan Murphy
Yeah.
thing. I actually thought he was really good in that.
Mm-hmm.
I,
And he still
I
has a
thought,
couple of big films like Rat Race and American Gangster he was in.
mm-hmm.
He has a big part in that.
And I do know he does get invited back to do Oscar stuff, because I remember when Heath Ledger won his Oscar, it was the first year they had all the some previous winners come
Yeah.
onto stage, and they all say one thing about each nominee.
Yeah.
And obviously he got Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really funny because obviously Robert Downey Jr. is white,
Yeah.
who's playing a white actor who changes his
Yeah,
race.
blackface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does blackface because because he is playing a black character.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like it was all in the nose. It wasn't like he was just doing it to be like racist or anything.
Yeah.
It was the point of the character.
Yeah.
Once you actually see the film, you're like, oh, okay, right, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. It was really funny though. So obviously Snowdogs came out about 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously this was a big part of your childhood and everything,
Mm-hmm.
the DVDs and everything. And I feel like that time for our age, that was definitely peak of us just old enough to go to the cinema and actually really enjoy the movies.
Mhm.
Especially, I think early 2000s Disney movies
Mm-hmm.
were like all over
Yeah.
the cinema. So obviously I was just kind of looking things up and trying to remember for myself. Obviously the Pirates of the Caribbean movies kind of started coming out
Yeah.
about the 2000s. Those were huge.
I think that was definitely Disney's biggest stuff at that time.
It was, yeah.
Because the thing I was going to bring up is that, because at that point it was like franchises were starting to take over in the early 2000s. It was Harry Potter, Star Wars prequels, Lord of the Rings, uh, Narnia. Then it comes to that was like just the year of like fantasy before the superhero films started taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney films weren't. That's when Disney films were starting to bomb really hard, like your Treasure Planets, Atlantis, and all that.
True,
Lilo
yeah.
and Stitch was like a rare exception. A lot of their live action films weren't working. Apart from the only two things that Disney had were Pixar and Pirates of the Caribbean. They were like the guaranteed like big hits
Mm-hmm.
at that point. So, because people forget like Disney keeps going like through peaks and valleys, and that was like post Renaissance, and they just died for a good while, and that's why they were doing a lot of the direct to video stuff.
I know.
And it wasn't until Prince Frog and Entangled where they started to finally steer the ship back up again.
Definitely. This was the first proper time that like something from the Disney Channel was getting into the cinemas. So obviously the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yeah.
Which adults watch it, like when you're an adult and you're forced to watch that with your kid, you're like, oh my god, this is such a ridiculous plot. But obviously me as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's in Italy. This is great. And that's another film I need to talk about one day.
I don't know if you saw it. Somebody like posted like, here's pictures of my grandmother from Italy, and it was just pictures of Lizzie in Italy. Because the first thing I was like, okay, I believed it. I was like, oh no, wait, that's Hilary Duff. Oh, it's Lizzie McGuire. Because I forgot her film was set in Italy. Okay, I believed it for a second. It was like,
She sings in the Colosseum.
it's like she was a singer, and it was like, I was like, she looks really modern. Like, oh, it's Hilary Duff. That's why.
I love memes like that. Because oh god, this is one that makes me laugh every time. There's this photo of Britney Spears in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Mhm.
And literally, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's been 20 years ever since Britney Spears built the Eiffel Tower." She invented the Eiffel Tower. I love stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, about this time, Freaky Friday came out.
Oh yeah.
I found a bit of a link with that as well, because obviously Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, like she's still a famous actress now, but I feel like especially then, I mean, like she was well known.
Mhm.
From Cooper doing this film, I feel like hurt his career a bit. Whereas I think Freaky Friday helped with Jamie Lee
Yeah, 'cause
Curtis's
it's
career.
just to a whole new audience who would be too young to like watch Halloween and like a fish called Wanda, Trading Places, and all that.
And obviously, especially that age group as well, they definitely don't know the history of Jamie Lee Curtis and about how both of her parents were in, like were proper famous actors back in the day as well. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known that. And obviously anything that Lindsay Lohan was in at the time.
Yeah, that she was in their peak at that point.
Like also wrote down that Herbie Fully Reloaded.
Oh, I've still seen that.
Oh my god, because I saw that in the cinema. I basically dragged my dad to it. He was dreading it because I think there was a version of Herbie years ago and he thought it was so rubbish. He was such like, oh, I'm dreading watching this. But as we came out of the cinema, he was like, you know what? That was actually quite good. I was like, was it? Freaky Friday was actually such a good film as well. I didn't watch it until I was like a teen, but I was like, oh my god, this is actually quite good for like a kids Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's just, well, it's one of those ones where it doesn't, I don't think it's actually meant to be as complex as it is, but I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that actually has a lot of hidden meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And stuff.
The same with Snowdogs. Like,
Oh my god,
which
yeah.
I'm thinking is maybe half unintentional as well. So I
Mm.
think there's focus on making a silly comedy, which is a wee bit of heart, but the heart stuff is actually done better than it should be. So it kind of
Yeah,
gets overshadowed by the bad stuff.
yeah, like it was actually us earlier just talking about the deeper meaning of him, like like, oh my god, he lost his dad and now he's
Yeah.
on his birthday. We're really way too deep, really, really deeper than it needs to be. But
Yeah.
hey, that's part of the fun. What would you say is your favorite part of Snow Dogs?
I'm trying to think. Favorite scene or just my favorite thing about it?
Whatever comes to your head first.
I think one of my favorite things about it is I just like this community of. I just like Tolkien in general. Just all of the characters. It feels like a very like lived in working class place, and everyone knows each other. And I just like that talk when he's going up, he's doing reading the mum's will to everybody, and I'll give you this, and then they're always having a laugh about it, they're throwing jokes at each other, and again, I think it just feels like I'd love to see like this as a TV show, just these people in Tolkien, like that guy with the beard and Ernie, and then the two punks are just there randomly, and a Barb and all that. So it's like, and then James Coburn obviously is Thunder Jack, which we should have mentioned. Like, I love the reason behind his name. It's like he got hit by thunder twice. You can't get hit by thunder. And then they all seriously look at him and like nod. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
But yeah, I just love that, and I think I just love James Coburn. This is one of his last films.
So it was,
This was
yeah.
right. It was right after Monsters Inc. And then this was his. I think it was the last film he was alive to see at least. And he just has such a big presence to him, and just the way he's shooting that little guitar chord that plays like down now every time he shows up is a lot of funny, making intimidating, but also quite funny. And then by the end, you really like him. And then just other stuff like just the way the film looks, and then like the music score when it's not being like doop doop, it's like when it's been more like epic, and it's got the shots of Alaska and he's mushing through. I think it's all pretty well done.
That was one thing I was quite surprised about when I was researching into the film. I was expecting at least a Razzie nomination for Cuba,
Yeah,
but it's only won one award, and it was actually a positive award. They actually won something for the score of the movie. And I was watching it again. I was listening to it. I was like, oh, you know what? The score is actually pretty good for this movie.
Yeah.
Like it was actually well deserved.
I think it's one of those cases where people just overlook it because again they're focused on the bad stuff. I was going to say about because the fact is it was on DVD. So this was my very first film that I got a DVD because Christmas 2002 I got a PlayStation 2, and you can play DVDs in it, but I never owned a DVD. The family didn't even own the DVD, so it was technically the first for the family as well. My nan got it for me for I think it would have been my 9th birthday the time I got it. And I think it just shows you how amazed I was at this new technology, because I was so used to VHSs. Firstly, the fact there was a main menu I was so amazed by. And what I had was like, it was just a shot outside the house, and you've got like Cuba Gooding Jr. riding on the dogs, just going back and forth left and right of the screen. And way in the background, you see like Nana just like scratching at the window, like popping up and down, like
Oh my god.
scratching. And then again, just shows how so innocent I was. Like I was amused by the fact that there was different languages. Like actually, for some reason, I watched the film in Spanish and just like listened to the dubbed version
Oh my god.
because I was like, because I never seen that before. Because obviously, I don't think I'd watched films abroad, so I wasn't used to that. And the fact you can have subtitles was like groundbreaking. Something I probably rely on too much nowadays, but and then all the special features. There's a behind the scenes documentary, which I think that was the first of its kind that I saw
Wow.
with the director and how he made it.
Mhm.
There's another one especially about the dogs and then working with like the animals, like the bears and that. There was deleted scenes. That was a big deal. So
Mm.
so just for context, there's a couple of the scenes. One there's an extended version of the beach scene that right after Michelle Nichols gives him the cookies. Then there's a cut out bit where James Coburn like is in a chair and he swivels around like give it a hug for your dad or something like that.
I do miss that about old DVDs. They actually made an effort with the DVD kind of menu.
Yeah,
I actually do really miss that because now it's just plain. It's just like you like play subtitles,
yeah.
what chapters. But whereas I just remember the Shrek one and the Scooby Doo one, they proper made animations just for the DVD
Yeah,
cover, and I'm like, oh my god, like you don't get that anymore.
yeah.
I really miss it.
Oh, one thing. Oh, one thing. I'd regret if I didn't bring this up. One scene I absolutely love, but the whole racial thing is that when he goes to see that black guy and he thinks he's going to be his dad.
Oh
It's like that tease. Like he
yeah.
says things like, "So I've got this bad tooth in the back." It's like, it's like, well, and you're a dentist, aren't you my father? If I say yes, well, I get a discount. he, he doesn't even look like me.
I completely forgot about that.
That's quite an
Yeah.
adult joke for like a kids film.
I know. But then by the end, he does get that dentist appointment.
Yeah,
So I was like, good for him. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming onto the pod
no problem.
today. I had such a good time chatting about Snowdogs. I can't believe that's in my letterbox now. Great. And stay tuned for the next episode where we will talk about the films that are objectively bad, but like, deep down, we all secretly love them. Goodbye.